Hello everybody, welcome back. So here I am, sat in a caravan on a holiday in the rain, and this is going to be about as good as these videos can get. I mean, this laptop's not the best in the world, it's not the worst thing in the world, but hopefully you'll be able to deal with it. I mean, adding to, I suppose, the last video I made about Bitcoin, which is that I expect this range to play towards perhaps maybe even the top of the outside range up here over the next few weeks, definitely this next month, which sounds like a really bold statement, and obviously we've got a long way to go, but so far so good. So yesterday we watched it get sold back down to the $33,000 area, which, if you watch the channel, you know how important I think that is. Based upon the weekly, we look at the 50 exponential moving average, which on the Binance chart it hasn't got an enormous amount of history. But if we look on, I suppose, Bitstamp, which I'm not going to load up now, just don't want to destroy the RAM sticks that I've got on this little laptop here. But the green 50 exponential moving average is a very important moving average to have on a weekly, and in most cases it dictates the bull and the bear market. So it's the turning point, which is why there's been such a battle to remain above here since we broke down massively on these two large deadly weeks. So we've been bouncing, and even obviously coming down below there with wicks is no big deal. It's the candle body closures every single week. I wait till till 1 minute past midnight on Sunday in hope that we close above here to remain in technically a bull market. And so far so good. So we came down there to test that very important range again yesterday, which is no big deal, and bounced from it, which is great. So constantly bouncing on that $33,000 zone, and generally most of the time staying above it, and occasionally having wicks down below it. So this is the bottom of the outside range, which was tagged perfectly. I'm not a massive genius or anything like that. I never claimed to be. I've got a knack for charts, I suppose, and we've had these support zones and lines and supports resistances, and we've had it all here for a long time now. And my last bid was basically here. Now I'm not saying that this is the bottom. It wasn't long ago when I thought that we would break down below here and come down to the lower $20,000 zones. $24,000, $23,000, and that could still happen. But I'm more in favour right now of this working its way towards the up, probably getting rejected around the 39,000 zone to start with, but edging our way outside of the top of this area here, going into a bit more of a bullish run. But remember, this is a bullish run within an accumulation zone of quite a large area. From what I remember, it's about 70% from bottom to top, which is it's close to 70%. A 70% accumulation zone, which sounds like a hell of a lot. Just have a quick sip of tea. It sounds like a hell of a lot, and it is a lot. I mean, let's face it, that's like a big zone. But if you watch my channel, we've been buying into accumulation zones for lots of coins, which have exactly that or even more. And accumulation zones, especially in a bullish asset, can take up to almost 100, some of them even more, percent areas. So we think of Bitcoin as something that, I suppose either goes up or down, but sideways is, for a lot of people, especially who had entered the market recently, isn't something that they're kind of used to. But I've been around Bitcoin for long enough to recognize that sideways is, to be honest with you, it's largely what it does. It does do big sideways movements. I mean, we traded almost an entire year of sideways movement back in 2000, I suppose 2019 and partially 2020. These are sideways areas within a large range. So let's put that into context. We are sideways now, and the range is quite large. And this is not anything that should be feared, or I suppose anything to be too excited about either. This is Bitcoin's normal kind of behavior. Sideways, will it or won't it kind of vibe. Is it going to break out? Is it going to break down? Nobody really knows. But I suppose there's a misconception with cryptocurrency, especially with the new people. I see all these comments coming on my ones that I made about VRA and BEPRO, really touching a nerve with some people. They're clearly underwater to the point where they cannot hear anything subjective about the way that chart needs to be looked at and interpreted. I don't make charts about stuff that I think is just going to be rubbish. I was making those about things that I actually intend on buying when the time's right for some decent moves. But there's a lot of new money in the market, inexperienced players, and that's fine. Everybody's new once, and experience is not that it makes you any better, but at least it broadens your expectations. You know what I mean? So you're not constantly expecting things to go up all the time, and you get a better feel for the market as a whole. You know what I mean? And that basically is what's going on here. So I've said that the summer is pretty much, unless you're looking to scalp trade or just accumulate in general, going to be a bit of a boring, written off summer for crypto, which is why you should try and enjoy the summer for what it's worth, and tune back in towards the end, where decisions will be made for Bitcoin, in my opinion. But for the moment, I'm quite hopeful. And if we go back down to the lower term timeframes, where I suppose we get the clues that things are going to change or certain things are going to work, we did have a conversion baseline cross on Ichimoku Cloud, which kind of got screwed in a way. We've got one level of confirmation saying to get out of this trade after we'd already just got in, but I'm quite happy with the way that it's working at the moment, as long as we don't have the negative cross with the conversion baseline again, which we don't quite yet have. That's just a 4-hourly chart. It's not the best thing I've ever seen in the world, and the volume's not particularly high on it. The MACD's all over the place. We do have bullish divergence on the daily and on the weekly for Bitcoin, which again can take a little bit of time to play out. And that's something I'm looking to hold on to for, I suppose, like I say, this month maybe. By the end of this month, we will test or get towards the top of the outside range. But it doesn't mean that we'll break out there, and that's not what I'm saying. It doesn't mean that we're going to go straight up to an all-time high or anything. I mean, it's possible if this takes the rest of the month and maybe into next month to get to that level, then yeah, we could break out from there, and we could even say that the bottom is already in, and there is a strong chance that the bottom is already in. But again, when we're ranging within a range and still technically towards the bottom of the inside range, yeah, we do have to expect the worst, but I am quite hopeful with what I'm seeing. Now, just to switch over to the altcoin market, we'll look at Bitcoin dominance for a second here. So on the daily, it's not looking particularly good, but overall, I think that this chart is when I say good, I'm looking for moves to go up. Moves up means that Bitcoins get hurt, that altcoins get hurt. Moves down means that altcoins outperform Bitcoin. At the moment, it's a bit of a will it, won't it as well. If you go to the 4-hourly chart, there are certain signs to suggest that this is going to go down for a little bit of time. So alts are going to do all right in the short term. So I've been saying that I'm expecting altcoins to suffer. I still believe that, because every time that Bitcoin goes up, at the moment, because of the way that the Bitcoin dominance chart is looking, which is basically technically a short signal that took place as soon as we started to close below the cloud here. So from just a couple of days ago, altcoins were looking relatively strong in comparison to Bitcoin. So that's why I said that I think altcoins might do okay if Bitcoin goes up, and they seem to be doing okay for the moment. And this, on the 4-hourly at least, should hold up okay for a short amount of time. It's only a 4-hourly, so I don't think it's going to hold up for a great deal of time. So alts will work out okay for the moment, so maybe for the rest of this week. But when Bitcoin decides that it's had enough and needs to be sold off into or correct again, then altcoins will get significantly hurt more than Bitcoin. So this is always the problem with altcoins, especially when you've got a chart like the Bitcoin dominance chart, which is particularly quite low, really. It's and it's all about the risk to reward, and we can do these little moves like the one we've just done these last few days and expect these altcoins to work out okay across the board. Generally, most of them should be okay with a signature like that on a 4-hourly. But on the daily, it's not quite the same because we are quite low already. I've not got my charts set up on this laptop. I need to sort that. But we bounced from this area here, which was an obvious place for it to bounce, because this is where we bounced previously. Now we can obviously break down to that level again, and maybe even go even lower. But we've got all these zones down here where we could potentially bounce from again. So 40% dominant and 35% dominant. So this could be, and I'm not going to say an alt season, but a period where altcoins could rally. They are in need of relief rallies. They're not particularly showing any signs of or no buying signals or anything like that. But relief rallies are different. Relief rallies are where certain things hit levels of significant lows, go into oversold territory, which is what a lot of crypto has been for quite a period of time, and they get these relief rallies. They're not rallies which would have continuation to new all-time highs. They're decent bounces which would then inevitably get sold back off into and trickle back down to where they started from, and maybe a bit lower. So I think that's what's going on with the altcoins right now. They're having relief rallies because they were significantly oversold. I'm talking about altcoins as a whole in general, and then that will fizzle out, and the main focus will remain on Bitcoin, because I do believe honestly that it's Bitcoin that is going to do the biggest performance for the majority of this year, and recover way before anything else does. And then when the time is right, then we will flip that Bitcoin into altcoins, right, for a more significant sustained move. But yeah, altcoins look okay for the moment based upon the 4-hourly chart on the Bitcoin dominance. But remember, it's only a 4-hourly chart, so that can't last forever. And the chart does not have the power to transfer to a daily anytime soon. And I just don't think we're going to come up to these levels of resistance, anytime soon, nor these levels of support. It's just relief rally period. But there is, if anything, there is more chance of it going up and probably break up into the 58 to 60% dominant area, which is where we will likely get the alt season that we all want and we all wait and hope for. But for the moment, I don't see a problem with altcoins particularly. They just have to be very careful when trading them. Anyway, I'm going to leave it with you there because I have to upload these videos with my phone data, and I've got to look after it if I'm going to be doing this for 2 weeks. They're still going to be doing the Patreon live stream on Thursday. That won't be a problem, but for this week and next, it'll just be one live stream a week, and then I'll be going back into the full swing again for Patreon members. Anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you have a nice day, and leave some comments for altcoins that you want me to look at, because Bitcoin, I've said it last video, this is my overall analysis. This is just to reiterate the way I'm feeling about it with, I suppose, an overview of what I think altcoins are going to do as well. But if you've got any particular altcoins that you want me to look at, leave them in the description below in the comments, and I'll do those over the next couple of days, rather than just talk about Bitcoin all the time. Because Bitcoin, I've been saying the same thing for Bitcoin for ages now, and it more or less is the same analysis every single time. I suppose you say it once, you say it a million times. There's just little updates as to which direction it's going to go. I suppose even just on a weekly basis, and I expect it to go at least to 40,000, and maybe over the rest of the month, possibly all the way up to 49,000. And I'm going to leave it with you there. Thank you for watching. Hope you have a nice day, everyone. Take it easy.